scopes have changed. Now we're reading on the news that even Gen Zs don't consider going into university anymore because they don't feel like it's worth their time or their money. How then, in your line of work, do you define and encourage certain culture within education?
So yes, there is a school culture. You know, a school is an organization.
Yes.
It's a community of either young people, teachers and learners, or lecturers and students. So there is a culture. And I like that point that you say people are questioning the relevance of higher education. We are at a, what do I call it? What's that? A junction.
Yes.
I think if you looked at the numbers from the students who did their KCSE in 2024, when they were now doing their placement with CUSPS, the Kenya Central Placement Services, only 83% asked to be placed. 17% said they're not interested, yet they were qualified.
Right.
So that's quite telling.
Yes.
And I think this started way back in 2019. And that's really when most students opted to go into TVET, which is now more hands-on, skills, as opposed to universities, which are really more theoretical. And then you end up on the streets and you're not getting work. So you talked about various generations. So again, Gen Zs make up the huge part of people in university right now.
Right.
Perhaps in basic education, it's the Gen Alphas. And they are so different from the people who are teaching them, because the people teaching them are now millennials and the boomers, Gen Xers. That's the one next. So one thing is that I believe a lot in intergenerational collaboration.
Right.
Every generation needs the other generation.
Yeah.
The Gen Zs cannot wish away the millennials or the Gen Xers. And neither can, because the older generation holds I'm not saying that the youngers are not wise, but they have lived experience.
Right.
They've been through government systems, they've been through transitions, they've been through stuff that, the Gen Zs are yet to see.
Right.
But then again, the Gen Zs bring a confidence that I haven't seen before.
Amen.
An attitude, to question. Question leadership, question authority, question decisions. You've seen what's happening in Nepal. They've basically overthrown a government. So what a school culture is bringing all these people together. And that's why, again, I go back to CBC, because CBC is very similar to Cambridge. And I don't talk about Cambridge a lot because that's a very minority of the people who are taking their students there.
Right.
But yes, it's very similar. But in this sense, there's something called differentiated learning for every person in the class. Because she talked a lot about people being different in terms of personality, in terms of character, in terms of temperament. So what you do is that you don't teach, one teacher is in the front teaching a whole 50 students in the same way. No. Now you're breaking them down into groups.
Right.
These students like to learn by doing practically. These ones like to discuss. These ones probably just want to go read a book somewhere. And as a teacher now, it's your work to identify this. And I say this because now this will again show up in how these people will lead. Because from this way, you'll see who are the more vocal ones. You would think those are the leaders. Not necessarily.
Right.
There could be that quiet boy or quiet girl who has such good insights, but somebody has to prompt them to speak up. And then you're like, oh, this is going to work for everybody. So it's the work of the teacher to do that. Not only to listen to the loud students who have a choleric or a sanguine personality, but to also bring out the phlegmatics and the melancholics, because they also have something to say and they're good at something. And when you encourage them, that boy or girl, to raise their hand and give their ideas, it shows them that leadership is not just about the loudest person in the room. Right. Leadership is about ideas, good ideas, working ideas, about consensus and about influence. Yes.
You describe CBC like it sounds like heaven. I think we wish we had that. Things would have been, yes, things would have changed without the aspect of cramming. But has the shift to CBC been easy, and does it work in a place where we've come from 844 and going to now empowering people to now think more, perform?
I get the struggle. And I'm with you. Trust me, I'm a parent as well.
Yes.
So I know the whole struggle. But the biggest problem here has been implementation. CBC is beautiful on paper. If you read the basic education curriculum framework, because that's everything. But then now when you go to the ground, the teachers were probably they were not well trained. If you look at the infrastructure, we are doing things, knee-jerk reactions. We don't have classrooms for grade 7. Let's build them. Do we domicile junior secondary in primary or in secondary? Right. Everything is being thought about when we are on the what do we call it? You're building the plane as you're flying it. Yeah. That's what they say. Yeah. And ideally, this should have been thought about even before when we're doing this. But we are already here. So we cannot wish it away. It's a beautiful system if well implemented. And if you go to the private schools, which is really unfortunate, they are doing it the right way. Right. Most of them, I don't want to mention names here. I'm not marketing for anybody. If you talk it really well, but if you go now to the public ones where the numbers are so big, and if you go to like really low resource settings, like, far off, Garissa,